Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your friendly neighborhood naturopath, encouraging you today and every day to fire your MD. Fire your MD now. Get everybody in your family to fire your MD because they have nothing for you but drugs and surgery, drugs and surgery, drugs and surgery, death, unless, of course, you've had some type of acute trauma, or you actually really positively do need surgery. And most of the time, you absolutely really positively do need surgery because of some acute trauma. If you need surgery because you're getting older, you have a bad doctor. Your joints in your heart and your lungs and your kidneys don't just break because of old age. They're not because of a voodoo curse, and it's not because of some bad, mysterious gene or autoimmune disease, for goodness sake. These things go south because they've run out of the nutrition that they need to maintain their structural and functional integrity, and because you are unwittingly and consistently pouring into them every day, but you don't know it, food and drink that hurts them. So, for goodness sake, get a clue. I mean, you can't go to the same well over and over and over and over expecting a different drink, expecting a different outcome. For goodness sake, ladies and gentlemen, fire your medical doctor. Fire your medical doctor now. Click on fireyourmdnow.com. Go to fireyourmdnow.com and click on the longevity button. Better yet, click on the health recovery subscription service button. It's right there on the front page. Just scroll down to the bottom of the front page. Check it out. Join me. Join my online health recovery subscription service, and you'll have access to 50-plus hours of archived health information telling you the holistic perspective on high blood pressure, the holistic perspective on sickle cell anemia, the holistic perspective on fibromyalgia, stuff you didn't know you didn't even know you didn't know. That's how far outside of your reference range it is. It's stuff you didn't even know you didn't know you didn't know. Really far out there stuff, but very pragmatic, results-oriented stuff. For instance, salting your food is healthy. Salting your food is healthy. Did you see also last week? I'm going to be talking this tomorrow about this subject. Tomorrow the AMA reverses their position on salt. We've been telling people for 30 years salt is good, and all of a sudden the AMA reverses their position on salt, and everybody genuflects to their brilliance. Well, goodness sake. I'm here to help y'all snap out of it, ladies and gentlemen. The MD Emperor has no clothes. The worst possible thing you can do for your health is to get the advice of someone with an MD after their name if you're suffering with a chronic illness. Looks like Richard from Madison is still with us, and he wants to know what he can do. What's going on, Richard? Hello, Richard from Madison. Welcome aboard.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank
How's
you.
it going?
Not too bad. How are you? Grab the headset.
Very, very good. What's up?
Thank you. My wife has been on, she had spinal stenosis.
Yeah.
And she had surgery sometime back. It's in the bedroom. And we got on the product. We got introduced to the products probably about 2 months ago. And she got on the
Healthy Bone and Joint Pack.
Oh, okay, thank you. Healthy Joint and Bone Pack, and of course the
Hello, Madison. Well, looks like we lost Madison. Sorry about that, Madison. We lost the signal completely. Give us a call back. I'll put you back to the top of the list. We're going to go from Madison to Mississippi and talk to Jay from Mississippi. Hey, Jay, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, yes, sir. How are you today?
Very, very good, thanks. Thanks for your time. Thanks for calling. How can I help?
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure about 2, maybe 3 years ago.
Yep.
And they put me on some products, lisinopril, warfarin, dioxin, cardivorol.
Yeah, are you a vet? Did the VA do this to you?
No, it was the state hospital here in Jackson.
Okay. So since the prescription medications and the treatments that they advised, how do you feel? What's been happening to your body? How is your health? Are you getting better? Have you stabilized? Or are you getting worse? What's going on?
No, I feel like I'm growing younger and better looking every day, but I've been taking the product, you know, that they prescribe. I'm taking prescription, plus I'm taking Dr. Wallach. I take some of the products that he has.
Now, did you notice a difference in your life after you started Wallach's stuff, or not so much? And give me the honest answer here. What really happened, Jay, once you started taking Wallach's longevity products?
Well, they actually told me I couldn't walk 10 feet without having to lay down on the ground. I just was so weak. And then either the product kicked in. I started taking it immediately when this happened. And either the product kicked in or God touched me. One of the two, or both.
Yeah. Well, I think God touched you through the product. So how long are you able to walk now without falling down?
Oh, I can run 10 miles if I want to get.
Well, I'd consider that a successful. I'd consider that as a really nice improvement, man. So I'm curious as to know, what is it that's bothering you now, and how can I help?
Well, I'm trying to wean myself off of those prescriptions that I just called out to you.
Oh, yeah.
The Pinapril, dioxin, cardivorol,
yep.
warfarin.
Yep.
I'm wanting to get off of those. It makes my skin look weird, man, on my arms, you know.
Yeah. So the warfarin is a blood thinner, and the thickness or the thinness of your blood is determined by a blood test. And if you're on that stuff, I mean, how frequently do they have you go back to the hospital to get your blood checked?
Well, they had me doing it. They had me going back once a week.
Yeah.
To check it, but I just figured that, you know, I've done that for like a year, maybe 2 years.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was always like a 1 or 2. I mean, it was just right there. So I said, if I can get off of all the prescription drugs they're giving me and do it naturally, hopefully, you know, everything will be fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm with you 100%, and certainly a year on the program is plenty enough time to have bolstered your body up appropriately. So here's what I would do. I would consult with a pharmacist. I'd find a pharmacist, because pharmacists love to talk. Pharmacists are really into what they do, and pharmacists often have more concern for patients than doctors do, right? So I would find a pharmacist who's a good-natured fella. I'd tell him what you're on, how long you've been on it, and I would say, look, I'm feeling pretty good now. I'm doing all these other things for my health, and I'd really like to wean off of these drugs. Can you give me a reduction schedule and tell me how to do it safely? Because that's the domain of the pharmacist, right? There's some drugs that you can just stop cold turkey. There's other drugs that you should wean off of over the course of 7 days or 14 days or 21 days or whatever. The pharmacist knows all of this stuff. He'll be able to tell you exactly what to do. And then you just get on board with the recovery program. And then once you've been off of the meds for 14 days, for 2 weeks, once you've been off of the meds for 14 days, I would go back to the hospital or wherever it was you were having your blood tested. I wouldn't tell them that you stopped the meds, and just have them redo the blood work again and then see what the results are. Now, if the blood work is normal, you're good to go. If the blood work is abnormal, call me back on the radio. Tell me what the abnormalities are, and I'll tell you what to do about it. Does that make sense?
One other thing, and I know you want to go. When I first when they first put me on the warfarin,
yeah,
I went back in to get a checkup with the doctor, and he told me, he said, have you noticed any differences in your life since you got warfarin? I said, well, I have an insatiable urge to eat a lot of cheese, and all the lamps moved out on the house, on the right side of my house and on the left side. So I'm good to go.
That's funny, Jay. I'm going to use that moving forward. Warfarin, of course, ladies and gentlemen, is rat poison. Isn't that a riot? Well, you know, stupid is as stupid does, and really that's all that these guys know how to do, right? So I'm so glad that you found Dr. Wallach, so glad that you found us. And right, I mean, results are everything. Proof of the pudding's in the eating. Before longevity, you couldn't walk 10 feet without having to lie down, and now you're able to run miles. Well, all things being equal, sounds to me like your body is improving nicely. And the recommendation here, let's make no bones about it, is to get people so healthy that they can safely, efficiently, and effectively stop all of their prescription meds. Because you don't have congestive heart failure or had congestive heart failure, whatever the case may be, because you had a rat poison deficiency. You don't have congestive heart failure because you have a lisinopril deficiency. You just don't. Oh, another thing that you should do, if you haven't already done this, Jay, is go to CVS or someplace and get a blood pressure cuff. Take it to the firehouse and have the EMTs, when they're not out on a call, they're just sitting around playing pinochle, have them take your blood pressure with their equipment and with your new equipment and then compare the results to make sure that your equipment gives you accurate numbers. And then every day get into the habit of measuring your blood pressure a couple of times a day. Write the numbers down. And then when you're weaning off of the meds, if the blood pressure starts to increase, then the first thing I would do is I would increase the liquid calcium. The first thing that I would do is increase the liquid calcium. But my point is, you need to measure the thickness of the blood with a blood test, and you need to keep a track of the blood pressure with an objective blood pressure measurement every day. Those things, the blood pressure you can do, it's free at home, and the prothrombin time test to measure the thickness or the thinness of your blood, that's very inexpensive. But that's my recommendation, man. Get a blood pressure cuff, measure your blood pressure, consult with the pharmacist, get on a nice reduction schedule, then go have your blood rechecked and get prepared to smile all the way to the wonderful world of health. Stick around, folks. I'm back after this. Good day, everybody. That was the worst Australian accent I have ever heard in my life. Let's hear a real Australian accent. Let's go to John, calling all the way from Australia. Hey, John, thanks for calling. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. How you going?
Good. What time is it down there in Australia, John?
It's 7:23 in the morning, so I'm just getting ready to go to work, actually.
All right. So what part of the country are you in?
So I'm from Sydney.
Sydney, very nice. So it's your winter time down there. It's your winter, right?
Yeah, if you want to call it winter. It's about 20 degrees Celsius. A bit of rain, but beautiful.
Yeah, very nice. I'd love to visit Australia sometime. I really would love to visit Australia sometime. But enough about me. Thanks for the call, John. How can I help?
So, yeah, I just wanted to ask, and I wanted to say I'm a regular listener. I love your podcast, and thank God for the internet, I guess. But, yeah, love your show.
Thanks, man.
And so I do a lot of cycling and a lot of weight training and gym exercises and so forth. And on the weekend, I actually went out for a big bike ride, and I felt really bad. So towards the end, I kind of threw up, and then my right eye blacked out a little bit. I kind of lost vision for about a minute, and then it came back. And I just wanted to know what could possibly cause that.
Well, did you feel like you had, to lie down? Were you dizzy at all or lightheaded, or were you sweating a lot?
I wasn't sweaty, but I was very dizzy and lightheaded. Yeah, I actually had to sit down. I couldn't stand up.
All right. Well, the most common cause of something like that would be acute low blood pressure. Would be acute low blood pressure, where your body, your blood pressure just got really, really low. It wasn't able to pump blood to your head efficiently. And so, your vision went dark in one eye, and, you felt like crap. You felt a little nauseous, and you had to sit down or lie down. It's also possible you had a mini stroke, but there's a saying in medicine, right? When you hear hoofbeats, right, you think about horses first before zebras. Probably it was a low blood pressure thing. Now, there's a number of things that can induce low blood pressure. The single most common thing is dehydration. So, I don't know, man, if you drank a big cup of coffee before you went out on the bike ride, or didn't hydrate enough, or it was really hot and you were sweating, or there were certain herbs like the Cell Shield RTQ that Longevity has, the quercetin that's in that can lower blood pressure. So if you take too many of those on an empty stomach, you can get an acute attack of low blood pressure. What were you doing, right before you went on the bike ride? Anything different?
No, so it was early in the morning, but I do take the Cell Shield RTQ. So I take that in the morning and the evening. So
Did you take like 4 instead of 2, or take it on an empty stomach?
No, usually I only take 2 in the morning. And it was on an empty stomach, yeah.
It was on an empty, and then you went for a long bike ride?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and did you have a cup of coffee before you left the house?
No, I don't think so. No, not in the morning. I did afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, okay. And were you, hydrating while you were riding the bike?
So I was drinking water, but I wasn't drinking my rebound that particular time. So
Yeah, okay. So I'm thinking...
hydrating.
Yeah, right. So I'm thinking you were dehydrated and there was too much of the Q from the Cell Shield RTQ in your body, and that capitulated a low blood pressure event, which gave you those momentary symptoms. I mean, has that ever happened to you before?
No, not that I can remember. That was the first time.
Yeah, right. So
it was pretty intense. So it was a bit of a race at the end. So
yeah. So you were going for it at the end, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Did you win?
Almost.
All right, good, man. Well, I'll tell you a story. I was on a plane a couple of weeks ago, and I'd just been coming off of a head cold, and I wasn't paying any attention. It was really early in the morning, and I was late for the airport, and so I just grabbed a handful of Cell Shield and swallowed them on an empty stomach. I think I took 5, right? And I had a big cup of coffee because I love coffee. If coffee was a woman, I'd marry it. I mean, I love coffee, man. I love coffee, right? So I'm slamming down my coffee, going to the airport. I haven't had anything to drink at all. I mean, anything to eat at all. Didn't have any of my other supplements, just the Cell Shield RTQ. Don't know why. It was convenient, and I was in a rush, and I'm out the door, bada bing. So I'm sitting on the airplane, and I pass out in the seat of the airplane. Passed right out. The EMTs came and everything. Took me off of the plane. Dr. Glidden took me off of the plane. I learned my lesson. They took my blood pressure. They couldn't even find it for a couple of minutes. That's how low my blood pressure was. So I'm thinking the same thing probably happened to you. The moral to this story, brother, don't take the Cell Shield RTQ on an empty stomach. And if you're going to go for an intense exercise thing like that again, like you Aussies love to do, make sure you take your rebound, make sure you're hydrating appropriately, and that sounds like a good plan to me. Hey, John, we're up against the hard break, mate. Thanks so much for calling. Keep up the good work down there, down under. Call me anytime, and I appreciate so much the positive strokes. Ladies and gentlemen, 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. Richard's back. We're going to go to him when we come back after the break. Who's that sneaking around in the background, ladies and gentlemen? It's your pharmacist. It's your MD. Trying to get you to see things their way, telling you it's their way or the highway. Well, guess what? There's a new sheriff in town, Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, reminding you that only you can stop allopathic reductionism like Richard from Madison is trying to do. I think he found his way back to us. Hey, Richard, thanks for sorting the phone thing out. Welcome back. You are live.
Thank you. So my wife's right here, actually. You can go ahead and ask the question.
Yes, I have spinal stenosis, diagnosed with a couple of MRIs, and I have been on the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack for about almost 2 months. But because I weigh 200 pounds, I've been taking, double doses every day, and I've really developed some diarrhea.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm wondering.
Well, yeah, I can have. That's a common complaint, and I know why that's happening, and it's also related to the initial genesis of the illness, most probably. So first things first, how do you take the red powder, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine? How do you take that?
I typically will put some water in a bottle and shake it up.
Well, how much water and how much of the tangy do you use? Do you use a level scoop? Do you use 8 ounces of water, 12 ounces of water? What do you do?
Probably about 8 ounces of water and a level scoop of the tangy tangerine.
And you do that 4 times a day?
2 times a day.
Okay. And how long do you take to drink it down once you make it up?
Well, I drink it down pretty fast.
Yeah, you slug it, right?
I'm not crazy about the taste.
Yeah, well, man, this is your luckiest day of your life. I'm so glad that you called and then called back after we lost you. I mean, let's be honest, right? The Beyond Tangy Tangerine was a breakthrough in medical nutrition formulation. There's 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 115 fruits and vegetables in there, 77 plant-derived minerals, not 60. There's just a ton of fun in that bottle, and to keep it all mixed so that it doesn't stratify and exist in layers once it's been sitting on the shelf, like cereal does, or like, oil and vinegar will separate, right? That was a big technological breakthrough. And to get the vitamins and the minerals and the amino acids and all the fruits and vegetables in a particular form so that they dissolved easily in water. They didn't get all clumpy, and they dissolved, boom, right into water. That wasn't easy to do either. This formulation of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine was not easy. It was years of research and development. Youngevity is the only company that has a lock on this particular technology. And even though it was a big advancement, a huge advancement, this was as much of an advancement in nutraceutical technology as going from a hot air balloon to a turboprop airplane. It was a giant leap forward, but it really didn't taste that great, and only maybe 30% of the people, if that swallowed it, really enjoyed the taste, and it wasn't a problem, and they just drank it down no matter what. Now, one of the things I love about Youngevity, in addition to their recipes, and their recipes are really awesome recipes, formulated from millions of dollars of research and decades of clinical experience by licensed naturopaths. But they move forward, and they adapt, and they change, and they make things better. So just last couple weeks ago, the 4th of July, right around the 1st of July, I think, end of June, beginning of July, Youngevity introduced Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0. It's the next generation Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It's peach flavored. They added more stuff to it, and they took some stuff away from it. It's got more folic acid, more vitamin A. It's got more vitamin K in it. It's got a couple of fruits that people were allergic to removed. Doesn't have any shellfish whatsoever in it. And best thing ever, it tastes awesome. I am not kidding you. It tastes fantastic. It's hard to stop drinking the stuff. I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, I better tone this down because I'm going to run out of it, before the end of the month, whereas the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, I've got a couple of extra bottles hanging around because, I just never got to my daily dose because I didn't like it that much, right? So, we're very, very, very honest here on Fire Your MD. And then, we're all human beings having a human being experience here. And you're not alone in your distaste of the Beyond Tangy. So there's a couple things for you to understand, though, right? Number one, the reason that you're getting diarrhea is because your body is not absorbing the Beyond Tangy efficiently. You're drinking it way too quickly. And because your intestinal tract has been damaged from years, decades of eating all the wrong foods, because when you eat wheat, barley, rye, and oats, which everybody eats all the time in the United States, whole grains, whole breads, right? When you eat those foods, the proteins in those grains damages the intestinal tract. And it's the intestinal tract that absorbs nutrients. So the more whole grains you eat, the harder it is for your body to absorb nutrients. And so that's why you got stenosis of the spine, because your body couldn't absorb the nutrients it needed to keep the spine healthy from your food. Honestly, they weren't all there anyway, but if you hadn't been eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, you probably wouldn't gotten stenosis of the spine until much later in life, if you got it at all. So my point is, your intestinal tract, my intestinal tract, everybody's intestinal tract who's been eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats their entire life is impaired. And it is the job of the intestinal tract to absorb stuff. So now you come along and you dump too quickly into the intestinal tract a very high concentrated nutritional supplement. It passes through the intestinal tract unabsorbed. We get a little bit of it, maybe 10, 20, 30% of it. But, anywhere from 50, 60, 70% of it probably is not absorbed, and it dumps into your large intestine. Now, when you get a large intestine filled with nutrients instead of fecal matter, it causes diarrhea. So this is a classic absorption issue, plain and simple. Now, it speaks to two things. Number one, you have to modify and moderate your dosage of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. You have to, or this is not going to stop, number one. And number two, you have to stop eating food that's damaging the small intestine. Because if you don't do that, it's going to be, 2 steps forward with the nutrition and 2 steps backward with the bad foods, and you're not going to get anywhere. So there's always 2 things that we do here. We facilitate absorption by cleaning up the diet, and we modify the dose appropriately. So what did you say your current body weight was? 200
pounds.
All right, so in a perfect world, you would be doing 1 level scoop of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 4 times a day.
Ooh.
Yeah, because 1 scoop is for 50 pounds. It's 1 scoop per 50 pounds of body weight. 2 scoops per 100 pounds. So, but so here's what I would do. I would give the remainder of your Beyond Tangy Tangerine to Richard. And I would order the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0. Or the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack 2.0, or, they have the different healthy packs now with the new generation of Beyond Tangy Tangerine. So when you get the new stuff, number one, you're going to love how it tastes, so you won't have to just shoot it right down because you're going to want to savor it, let me tell you. And then the recommendation for you, I would start with 1 level scoop in 12 ounces of water twice a day. 1 level scoop in 12 ounces of water twice a day, and I want you to take an hour, at least an hour, to drink each solution down. So 1 level scoop in 12 ounces of water twice a day, taking 1 hour minimum to drink each solution down. Now, once you've got that handled, and it's not giving you diarrhea, 12 ounces drunken over the course of an hour, then I want you to do that process 4 times a day. 1 scoop in 12 ounces of water 4 times a day. Now, if that is too much of a burden on your lifestyle, here's what you can do. You can do 2 level scoops in 24 ounces of water twice a day. 2 level scoops in 24 ounces, or more in the morning, and 2 level scoops in 24 ounces in the afternoon. Just take all morning to drink down the first solution and take all afternoon to drink down the second. And if you modify the dosage like that, and you must stop eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats. You just have to bite that bullet and do it. And no kidding. Just stopping eating that stuff will make you feel better. Nothing else. No vitamins, no minerals, no prayer, no meditation, no nothing. If you just eliminate the crap, and my version of crap is very different than most people's version of crap. I'm going to tell you that whole grains are crap. So when you eliminate the 10 bad foods from your life, you're going to feel better within a couple of weeks anyway. And then when you modify the dosage of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, life is going to get better. Now, that's the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, right? We still have the white liquid calcium to deal with, the Osteo FX Plus. So how do you like that? Are you able to tolerate that?
Actually, I was mixing it in with the Tangy Tangerine and take everything together.
Yeah, right. So I wouldn't do that. I would take the white liquid calcium as a standalone thing, and there's 2 ways to do that. You can mix that with orange juice, and it tastes almost exactly like a creamsicle. Tastes exactly like a creamsicle. The recommendation is you need 1 ounce of that stuff twice a day. 1 liquid ounce twice a day. 1 ounce twice a day of the white liquid calcium. Now, you can mix that with whatever you want to make it taste good. Mix it with orange juice. Mix it with vodka. I don't care. Whatever you mix it with in order to make it taste good. One of my favorites is Longevity makes another liquid product called Z Radical. Z like zebra radical. It's a delicious superfruit with a sea vegetable in there called fucoidan. And fucoidan does too many good things for me to be able to talk about cogently on a radio show of short duration. It's an excellent additional product. In a perfect world, everybody would take Z Radical. It's an excellent supplement. It tastes so good. And what I do, I mix 1 ounce of the liquid calcium with 2 ounces of the Z Radical. I shoot one of those drinks down in the morning, and I do another one immediately before bed. But I don't really care what you mix the white liquid calcium with. You have to take 2 ounces of that a day, and you should be able to just shoot that down, follow it with a little water to get the taste out of your mouth, and life is good. And you will benefit from taking the final dose of the white liquid calcium immediately before bed. So, modify the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Get the new stuff. Take it more slowly. Take the OsteoFX like that. The essential fatty acids should cause no problem. The glucogel capsules should cause no problem. And if you're taking selenium into the bargain, that shouldn't cause a problem either. So, really, I think where this is going to hinge for you is the dietary restrictions and the modification of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. So look, give that a try. Give me a call back, a week after you've done that with a report so we can tell Longevity Nation what your experience was, because remember, we're all in this together. Thanks so much for the call up there in Madison. By the way, I'm going to be in Wisconsin Wednesday. Going to give you those marching orders when we come back. Stick around, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now. That's right, this Wednesday, that would be 16/17, the 17th, this Wednesday, the 17th day of July, at the Holiday Inn, 750 South Central Avenue in Marshfield, Wisconsin. That's Marshfield, Wisconsin. This Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m., 750 South Central Avenue in Marshfield, Wisconsin. Good old Dr. Glidden is going to be giving a live presentation, free presentation, to whomever wants to show up. So check it out, friends. Come and join us this Wednesday evening at the Holiday Inn, 750 South Central Avenue in Marshfield, Wisconsin. I'm going to go finish it out today with Elaine from Montana. Thanks so much for the call, Elaine. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I have a young lady by the name of Amanda on the line with us, and I'm going to give you a quick overview, and then you can talk to her. But she has a bladder condition called
interstitial cystitis. Yeah.
She's had it for 3 years, and she has, pain and aches and all that goes with it. She was on antibiotics for 3 years. They went in and looked at the inside of her bladder, and they said it was inflamed and swollen. Now she's had a yeast infection in her vagina 4 to 5 years. It's really in a bad place, and I'll let her tell you, but I think the doctor said it's autoimmune, and there's nothing they can do. So I'll let you talk to Amanda. We just want to get her on a program that's going to help this girl get well. She's only 29 years old.
Okay. Hey, thanks so much for the phone call. Hello, Amanda. What's going on?
Hi, sir. How you doing? Nice to talk to you. Doing not too good. In 2006, I was diagnosed with IC. After being treated for 3 years on antibiotics, they finally said that it was a bladder condition that was not reversible. And they had me on Amron. So I took that for 2 years, and it seemed to not work. It makes you depressed and your hair falls out. And so I just stopped taking it in 2008, and now it's really, really severe and bad. And I have Canada. I went to the doctor Thursday, and he was pretty irritated, and he just told me, there's nothing we can do. We can send you into a urologist and do a procedure where they inject medicine directly into your bladder.
All right. Well, look, we've got good. So I only have 3 minutes left here. I'm sorry to cut you short like that. I don't mean to be rude, but I want to get into this to help you, okay? So I get it. First of all, it was the 2 years of antibiotics that gave you the Candida. Candida infections are caused by chronic, stupid antibiotic prescription. It's your doctor's fault. It's not an autoimmune condition. Your interstitial cystitis is not autoimmune. And the fact that your doctor was irritated at you because he couldn't fix your condition is telling. He should have been irritated with himself. He's not smart enough to fix the problem. But the doctors are so arrogant and so filled with themselves that they get mad at you because of their incompetence. I mean, that's just like living with an alcoholic. I mean, it's completely unacceptable behavior, 100%. I would write a letter to the medical board of wherever you are and say, look, this doctor needs to be investigated because he's an idiot. Tell your story. Interstitial cystitis, from our point of view, is caused by lack of nutrition to the bladder. The bladder is like an onion. It has a number of different layers to it. And when the layers run out of nutrition, they rub up against each other inappropriately, lose their fluidity, and you get irritation every time you need to take a pee. So the recommendation here to support and promote the structure and function of your bladder is twofold. Number one, you must identify and eliminate the 10 bad foods. Elaine from Montana can tell you what those are. That's very important. You must stop eating these foods or this will not work. Number two, I'd like you please to do one anti-aging Healthy Start Pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. My favorite is the Healthy Start Pack 2.0, Anti-Aging Healthy Start 2.0. I want you to do 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month, 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month, 2 bottles of Z Radical a month, 2 bottles of Z Radical a month, and 1 bottle of the Killer Biotic a month, 1 bottle of the Killer Biotic a month. Also, get some colloidal silver and do a colloidal silver vaginal douche 3 times a day. If you can handle it, 2 times is okay too. A colloidal silver vaginal douche with 1 half an ounce of colloidal silver to 1 quart of water. 1/2 ounce of colloidal silver to 1 quart of water. Do a vaginal douche. That plus the Killer Biotic plus the diet should over time eliminate the candida. And the secret sauce here would also be the root beer belly. I want you to do 2 packets of root beer belly a day for 4 weeks. Call me back in 2 weeks for the report, and we are out of time. See you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen.